We ended up making about $20,000 from playing Minecraft, which is absolutely insane. Bought it for $400 and it ripped to $5,000. We grinded it up to like $3 million in 3 months, but I got liquidated. It dumped, I lost all my money, and applied for 250 jobs on Indeed. We collected $10,000 before we even started coding a single thing. If you are the best at anything in the world, you will make money off it. If I go to a restaurant and a steak looks good, I don't look at the price. What is up? This is Jordan, and this is going to be the story of my life from start to finish on my entrepreneurship journey. I was about 8 or 9 years old, and I started by selling golf balls back to the golfers. So what would happen is golfers would be golfing, and they would hit their golf balls off the greens when they're not that great. So it would be in the forest, and no one wants to go in the forest and look at them, like look for their golf balls. I didn't even golf. I was 8 years old. I would go into the forest with a couple of buddies. We all have a backpack, and we would go in the forest and just hunt all these golf balls that people have hit into the forest. So we'd get all the golf balls, fill our backpacks, and then we'd bring them home, and we'd make a big bucket of like baking soda and vinegar, just every cleaning agent, scrubbing the golf balls with toothbrushes. And why we did this was to clean the balls so we could increase the value of the balls. Because if they're dirty, old, used golf balls, no one would want them. Whereas once we've cleaned them, they're sparkling white, and we're selling the Titleist Pro V1s, and we're selling them for $1 a ball, when the companies are selling them for like $15 for. You'd be crazy not to buy it from us. So we would go, after we've cleaned all the golf balls, we'd go to the golf course, sit on the hardest hole where there's a pond of water, and everyone chips it right into the water. And then once they hit it into the water, they drive right by us, and we say, hey, you want some used golf balls? We got some cheap golf balls that you could get. We were selling for so cheap that golfers were willing to buy it, as well as we were kids, so they kind of just wanted to help us out, I guess. And that was my first ever side hustle. I did that for probably 2 or 3 years with some buddies, just kept hunting more golf balls, selling them. We eventually got a big wagon of golf balls. We would sell them in egg cartons to the golfers so that we'd fill up egg cartons. So this egg carton's Pro V1, you can buy 12 for $15 or something along those lines. And it was cool. It was the start, and that's kind of looking back when I realized that, hey, I can make money from just like hanging out with my friends, doing whatever I want. And that's really what kind of changed the way of thinking for me, and how I started to believe that I could just do this all the time for the rest of my life. After golf balls, I realized that I just wanted money, and I was a young kid, so I decided, hey, let me get a job, because they'll just pay me every hour I work, and they pay you way more than selling golf balls, because for golf balls, you're going to spend hours and hours to make very little money. So next, after I stopped the golf balls when I was about 11 or 12, at 13, I decided to start washing dishes, because I was like, hey, that's an easy way to make money. This kitchen nearby was hiring. So I got in there, started washing dishes, did that for about a year and a half, made some good money. It was really my first experience in like the corporate environment with a boss, with someone telling me what to do. And honestly, I kind of liked it. It was chill. A lot of my friends also worked in the kitchen, so it was a good time. I could never see myself doing that for a long period of time, or like I didn't really get any fulfillment out of it. It was just like really learning these basic skills of teamwork, how to deal with people that you don't like, how to deal with bosses that are mad at you when you mess up, how to fix it, all that stuff. And it was a great learning experience, but overall, I didn't really like it. After that, I ended up quitting that job to start doing landscaping, because they paid me almost like double the amount for like just some nice physical labor. So I did that for a summer in high school when I was about 14. And that was also very cool. I liked the labor. Time went by very fast because you're very focused on like the physical task you're doing. If someone says, mow these lawns, I would just mow the lawns for 5 hours straight, and then the day's like 80% done. So that was really cool. I liked that. I made a good chunk of money doing that. And yeah, and those were really my first 2 real jobs. But at the same time, when I was about 11 or 12, just getting into high school, I started playing Minecraft. And I always played Minecraft as a kid. I played factions, all these different things. But I tried playing this thing called Skyblock when I was in grade 8. I remember it vividly. Me and my friend were like, hey, it'll be fun. Let's jump on the server. I ended up getting like low-key addicted to it. Was playing every single day. And my buddy kind of quit, so I was just alone. So then I started like meeting people on the server that were also playing like a lot of time every day. And I was like, hey, do you want to just join my team? And there was like a ranking system. So I was like, I made it to like 9th. So I was on the podium alone, just solo. And I was like, hey, if I want to do this, because I never do anything to get second. I'm always trying to be the best at everything I do, and I don't do a lot of things. And I think that's a big thing that is a determining factor of success is you want to do very small amount of things very well, and that's how you're going to succeed. And this was really my first experience building a team of people that actually would all like kind of work together. We'd have like roles, we'd have time zones, which is like shifts. So like I would play the North American time zone, the Asians would play the Asian time zone, the Europeans would play the European time zone. So we'd have everyone or someone online at all times. And I loved it, like instantly fell in love with it, got so addicted to Minecraft. We built a team of like 8 to 10 guys that were all fucking killers at the game, at work discipline, like their work ethic was unreal. Everyone's grinding 12, 16 hours a day. Obviously it's Minecraft, and what I did with this is there was a prize pool. Every week you won the server, you got $200 US. So we started, I got 9th the first time, made it up to 5th, I think, with a couple people joining my team. Every week you'd get $200, and then after 8 weeks you'd reset, so everyone's at the same starting point, and then you'd have another 8 weeks. So the third season we started playing, we had a sick team, everyone was grinding, and we won. And I made $200 US on Minecraft, and that was like life-changing for me because I realized I can make money doing whatever the fuck I want. If I like to play Minecraft, I'm just going to play Minecraft, I'm going to be the best at it in the world, and I'm going to make money off it. Because if you are the best at anything in the world, you will make money off of it. And like, it's just the skills, right? I learned these skills of Minecraft that no one else could do. Strategy, team organization, no other 12-year-old is running a team the way I was. And that's why we started to consistently win this one server. It was called the Archon. It was this server from the camp in Russia. He was an old YouTuber, and he sold it, I guess. And we played the server. We had Origins, right? So we would win this server every week, $200 a week, and that was so cool at the time because I felt like I was just like making money appear. Yeah, so I ran that up for about 2 or 3 years, honestly, just playing with my team. Eventually my team started to carry me. I started out by carrying everyone, and then as you kind of build that team, they're able to take some of the weight off your plate, and I feel like that's the same as businesses because when you build a business at the start, when you're starting up and it's just you or you and a co-founder, there is so much stuff that's on your plate. You're going to be grinding so hard, getting no rewards. But then once you start to build that team, people start to have good roles and understanding what they're supposed to do. They can take that like weight off your shoulders a little bit and they can wear that. And then once you get an insane team that works together well, you're able to share that load and everyone becomes very skilled at certain things. So for example, some people were good in the later end of the season from like week 4 to 8. And then some people were insane during week 1. So that was kind of how I built my team. We ended up making about $20,000 from playing Minecraft, which is absolutely insane. How many people do you know that has made over $10,000 playing Minecraft, right? So that was my first win. That was how I realized this online money space is real. And this was kind of before the hype of the whole Miami course seller, make money online kind of wave. This was when I was in high school. Like I didn't know a thing about any of this world, and I already knew that this was the future for me. I knew I wanted to just sit on my computer and do what I loved all day and make money for it. So yeah, Minecraft was a great era. I actually think I built a lot of crazy skills during that. I didn't realize it at the time because all these skills, it felt like a video game. It felt like they were worthless. But in the reality is that I was learning applicable skills. The video game was almost like what school should be, where it's an engaging format of learning. In Skyblock, there was an economy, so the whole goal of how you won Skyblock was making the most money possible, and whoever had the most money at the end of the week got the $200. So it's kind of just like real life. There was all these different assets, there was different machines that could make you money on autopilot, and the whole goal was to grind as hard as possible during the first week so that we could have such a big lead on everyone else that we would automatically win week 2 to week 8 because we had such a big lead during week 1. And yeah, so Minecraft taught me so many skills. It taught me like that the world is a lot bigger but a lot smaller than you think. I had friends all over the world, Sweden, Japan, Taiwan, China, like all across the US, like literally all across the world I started meeting friends. So I kind of started to see the world as like, yeah, it's a big place, but with the internet, you're so interconnected, and there's really no reason why I can't have friends in Sweden. I can't have friends in Asia. And spoiler alert, I actually met up with my friend in Sweden when I moved there, but we'll get to that a little bit later on in the story. So then around grade 10 is where I started slowing down with Minecraft. I'd already made my money. I'm like trying to be cool in school, and definitely playing Minecraft all day did not help my my popularity ranking, if you will. So I kind of stopped slowly. My team would carry me and I wouldn't do a lot, and then I didn't want to be the guy pulling everyone down, so eventually we kind of not broke up, but we just called it the end. We were all growing up and it was time to go next. And this was also the time around when I finished doing the landscaping, because I was doing both at the same time. So I did landscaping at the end of grade 10, like summer of grade 10, and that's kind of when I finished up with the Minecraft stuff as well, because I also realized that I was making like $200, and I was making $200 a week split between like 5 people or whatever. And so yeah, I just realized that I was getting paid no money. I was making like $2 an hour, and it was like a waste of time, but I loved it. It was fun and I learned skills, and that's what it's more about. But then the landscaping, I made some money and it was cool. I had some cash now for the first time really ever, like a substantial amount of money. And I've always had a passion for investing, because similarly to golf ball hunting or playing Minecraft, when you invest, you're pretty much like making your money work for you so you don't have to do anything. And I learned this concept very well in Minecraft, because the whole plan, as I mentioned before, about you have to win that first week to be able to win all the rest of them, it's the same thing in life and with investing. Because if you invest early, if you invest right now, that shit compounds. And instead of it being an 8-week season, my life is hopefully going to be like 100 years. So if I lock in now, figure out how to save my money, figure out how to invest it properly so I don't lose my shit, then I thought, and I still do think, that's one of the best skills you can learn to really get ahead of the rest of the game. Because I've been investing and saving my money now since I was in grade 7. My parents would let me trade on their accounts just so I could learn what the fuck the stock market was, what a mutual fund is. Thankfully, my parents were so great. They introduced me to their financial advisor when I was in grade like 7, just going into grade 8. And he just explained to me like what a mutual fund is, and like the fact that you can just make 5% of your money, like your savings, every single year. And that like broke my mind. Like if I have $100 and I just save it, that'll be $105 next year. And then the next year it'll be $100. Learning from Minecraft and how we would snowball all these kids, and we'd just push as hard as we can at the start so we win the rest. I took that mindset and used it for investing. I need to make as much money as fast as possible so I could invest it and get that compound effect rolling. And once that compound effect is rolling, you're unstoppable. It's like a snowball rolling down a hill, and once it gets too big, you can't stop it. So now seeing all these university people that I went to school with getting into finance, they're following the exact same path I did, and what I'm realizing is this is just a path to get into finances, or to get into investing, to get into wealth management, to get into asset management, to get into any of that. Clear, like step by step that no matter what everyone goes through, I've tried to tell people to essentially avoid my mistakes. But the thing is, some people, and most people, including myself, have to make those mistakes to be able to learn from it. You can't just say, don't do this. You have to say, don't touch the oven. They touch the oven, they burn their hand, and they're like, oh shit, that's why you told me that. I'm not gonna touch the oven anymore. I started talking with my financial advisor, and he was like, oh yeah, you can do all these different things. And he was like recommending me mutual funds and bonds, which is like, if you know anything about finance, those are super low yield and very safe, ultra safe. Looking back at it, I think that's stupid. I think you should be aggressive when you're young, safe when you're old and have kids and all that bullshit. But everyone starts at mutual funds or like ETFs or like super safe, diversified kind of like things because they're scared of losing money. And money has this like view in your brain that like it's so important you can't lose it, and you get this like attachment and this relationship with money that you're going to have the rest of your life. I think that relationship of being scared of spending it is very hurtful, and it's bad for how you make money, it's bad for saving money, it's bad for investing. But everyone starts like that until you kind of get all the reps and you get used to losing money, making money, and it just becomes normal to you, and it's just about making more money than you lose. So the first step's always ETFs, mutual funds, bonds, very safe stuff, because you're like, holy shit, this is guaranteed. I'm going to make a little bit of percentage every year, and it's fucking free. It just does it for me. It works for me. I have to do no work. Like people be saying, buy real estate. But then if you buy real estate, you have to deal with the house. You have to replace the roof if something goes wrong. With these stocks, I put my money in, don't touch it, and it just grows. So I thought that was the craziest thing. Got into mutual funds when I was in grade 7. Gave my parents my life savings. They invested it for me. I would just follow it every day. Like you wake up every morning, look at the mutual fund. It's up 0.02% and you're ecstatic. And that taught me the basics, right? And I really learned a lot. I started doing research. I started looking at all the opportunities, the different bonds, how the system actually worked. And this is kind of where I built my fundamentals. Maybe about a year or two later, maybe in grade 9, my financial advisor that actually put me on to the game invited me to do like shadowing and to learn from him what he's actually doing for his clients, how he's managing their retirement. And so this felt like very official for me. This was like, holy shit, I got a foot in the door. I'm learning how the real people do it. And that was amazing. I learned a lot from that. But what I learned is that I want a little bit more freedom, and I don't think that all these people are making the right decision. And it sometimes feels like I want to be so good at investing that people are like, here's all my money, do what you think is best because you know better than me. Whereas how he was operating it and how all financial advisors operate is, okay, yeah, you're getting old, this is safe for you, what do you want, what's your time horizon? And at the end of the day, he was almost an intermediary, just taking that money and giving it to a different asset manager. I wanted to be the guy. I wanted to be the asset manager, not just the advisor saying this asset manager is good. I loved the like research of stocks and all that stuff. I think I started a like Wealth Simple. If you're Canadian, you probably know this. It's like the very basic investing app. And what I did was I opened an account, got $1,000 for my savings, and put it in my Wealth Simple account. And I was like, I'm happy to lose all this money. I need to learn how to invest, what to invest in. Because when you're that young, you don't know about price to earnings or market cap or all these words. I saw TELUS and I'm like, I have TELUS. Like I have a TELUS Wi-Fi. That's got a good company or stuff like that that made no sense obviously now, but you're young, you're learning, and it was cool. I invested, didn't really lose that much money, didn't make much money, but it was my first time investing by myself. And what it did is by putting real money in and not just doing paper trading, that was my fucking hard work. $1,000 when you're in high school, it's a lot of fucking money. It didn't make sense to me because these companies weren't good. I had the business knowledge and it just like wasn't clicking in my brain. And I couldn't figure it out. I had a little bit of a off period then where I went to crypto because I was like, hey, this doesn't make sense to me. These stocks don't make sense. There's not enough movement. Generational wealth within the next 5-10 years. I'm not trying to wait for fucking 40 years in the S&P so that I can fucking buy a house when I'm 80. Like, I wanted it now and I wanted it fast. And crypto, this was like 2017, 2018. So I was like right when it was kind of popping off, was like, okay, this might be it. It's very similar. It's a financial asset. So I'd already learned about like, okay, there's volume and it goes up and down. And I was like starting to look at the candlestick charts. And it was about grade 11 or 12. So 2018, grade 12 was like 2019. And with crypto, I really just wanted to like learn what it was, learn how to use it, learn how to make money with it. The first thing that got me was NFTs because I'm a very big like collectible guy. I like understand it's all about perceived value, and if you can buy it when the perceived value is low and sell it when the perceived value is high, then you can make money. So I got into NFTs, did my research, and I bought my first one. I bought it for like $400. ETH mint, like right when the initial NFT hype was, the Bored Apes, the Crypto Punks, the Mutant Apes, the Moonbirds, the Azuki, the Murakami flowers, all that stuff was popping off. And I bought some random thing. It was called, I think, like Sympathy for the Devil or something along those lines. And I bought it for $400 and it ripped to $5,000. Like in like 3 days, it ripped to $5,000. And I was like, this is gonna be it. This is where I'm gonna get rich. It's gonna go to $1 billion or $1 million or $100,000. I'm like, I just 100x. If it 100x's again, I'm at $500,000, which is insane, right? For a kid in high school, or I was just getting into university, that would have been life-changing for me. But what I learned from this experience was I got caught holding the bag. I got greedy. I was chasing $500,000 when $5,000 was also life-changing at the time, and I should have just taken the profits. And obviously, I don't regret that, but it was not the correct choice, and it taught me how to manage my positions now. If I'm up, just take the profits, right? And it takes a couple times. I made the mistake over and over again for maybe a couple years until I realized that the most important thing when you're investing is that you sell when you're up. If you sell when you're down, and if you haven't sold, you didn't make any money. Just because it's up to $5,000, until you sell, you didn't make any money. And that's when I switched out of NFTs because they were illiquid. So even when I would try to sell, sometimes they wouldn't sell and then it would dump. So you'd get these like liquidations where your price goes way down and you essentially lose all your money, and it sucks. Crypto token space, right? Because they're very liquid. You can trade it instantly 24/7. And I made some good plays, made some money, but really what I realized is I was trying to day trade, and I actually went on a insane run day trading in first year university. First year university, I was doing the NFT stuff. The summer after first year, I needed a job because everyone just gets a job after university, and I didn't know what to do. I just loved this crypto stuff, so I was like, should I try to start my own crypto or something like that? And then what I ended up doing is I smoked a joint in my dorm room one night. And I was like, I'm going to get a job doing something I love tonight. I had 10 of them, 10 joints. There's this dude that walked around my university campus with like a briefcase full of joints. Sold them for like $10 or something. Bought 10 of these joints. Sat in my room, smoked I think all 10 joints, and applied for 250 jobs on Indeed. I woke up the next morning and I got response, or maybe a couple days, got responses from 4 people, 4 crypto companies. I ended up doing 2 of them were actually serious, 2 of them were bullshit. And then I did like a bunch of like prerequisites and like filled out, had to write essays, explain my knowledge for crypto. And that was like, I was like so happy about that. I wanted to write about crypto, and like, I hate writing. I can't read, I can't write, but writing about something you like was like very easy for me. So I had to write about play to earn and NFTs, and I was like, are you serious to get a job? Like, this is what I do every day anyways. I research this stuff. Like, I would have citations in my brain from me researching before that I would cite in my paper and then go back and have to find the source where I initially like found that when I was researching. So I ended up getting a job with a play to earn video game. 2021, I want to say. This was summer out of first year, and it was really cool. I enjoyed it. I loved it was my first time working in a job, like a big guy job, like doing something that I actually wanted to do, that was building me skill sets, building me skills that are actually applicable to something that I wanted to do with my life. I was doing marketing for the crypto company, for reference. So I would do Twitter posts, run the Discord. I got insane at Discord because our Minecraft servers, we all ran Discords. And pay attention, because that will be a big part of kind of a little bit later on. Yeah, I ran the Discord, was the community guy, made sure the community was engaged, and this is when I learned about community. And this was before the craze of school WAP, all these courses and communities. And I realized the value of community because we got a core community that would show up every day, talk in the chats. We had a Telegram, we had a Discord, and I would just like had a lot of power because it was just a very small startup. And what we would do is like I could really do whatever I want as long as it was good for the company. So I started doing like live streams, showing off our product and interacting with the users, getting bugs, getting bug feedback, all this stuff. And it was great. I loved it. Good team. It was really my first introduction to like startup culture. Like that culture of if I had an idea that was good, they would just let me do it. For example, there was like this conference they were looking at going to, and they were like, hey, do you like networking? Because I'm a very outgoing person. Everyone else was very timid and kept to themselves. And they're like, hey, can you go to this conference? And I was like, fuck yeah. Like, I'm an 18-year-old kid, and you're about to tell me you're going to fly me out to Austin for Consensus 2023 or whatever. And it was the coolest thing ever. So I flew to Austin, first time solo traveling, went to this crypto conference, the biggest crypto conference in the world. It's still running now. It was the craziest thing ever. I got my own Airbnb. I had to get like an Uber from the airport to my Airbnb. Went to like the Cardano convention, Consensus, which is like all the different cryptos were there. I met like all my favorite guys, like the H-Bar team. I met the XRP guys. I went to the actual Cardano Foundation and met Charles Hoskinson. And like that was my first like, holy shit, I'm like an adult working. I'm going on a business trip, a work trip. I don't even have to pay for this. I bought food. I would like Uber Eats food to my Airbnb, and I didn't have to pay for it. I got a lot of freedom, learned how to network, learned how to prioritize, because they didn't really care about me working X hours. They wanted results. They wanted me to just think of new shit to do, and they didn't want to micromanage me. They just wanted me to do good work, help the business without taking too much of their time, realistically. So that was great. I learned so much stuff. I learned kind of how he ran a business, how I would do it differently, how I would copy what he's doing. And my boss was, I fucking love the guy, but like, just like me, he was a little bit of a degenerate, and we started day trading together on Binance. We'd fucking do crazy leverage. He had some calls, I had some calls, and we'd just like trade at work. So like we'd get a position in the morning, we'd be doing marketing all day, and then I'd like tap on the shoulder, yo, it's fucking rallying, like let's fucking go, like and I'd be making like more money trading at work than fucking working at work. And I only really started that at the end of that summer. Once that summer finished, I went to university in a city a little bit far away, maybe 5 or 6 hours away from my hometown. So I couldn't work in person anymore, so I kind of just went part-time remote. It was very cool, but what happened was I kind of kept that trading going, you know what I'm saying? I kept working, I kept doing the live streams, worked maybe 10, 15, 20 hours a week. Super chill, just kind of paid for beers, paid for nights out, food, whatever it was. I started to get into trading, and I had an unreal run. When I first started trading, I had 2 or 3 months where I went undefeated. I lost trades, but I never lost a day. And I traded like a lot of days, like 4 or 5 days a week. And I put $250 in my portfolio, and I was day trading crypto. And I put $250 and I ran that to 5K. And then I was like, holy shit, it's $5,000. So I took out 2.5K and I'm like, I just 10x'd and I still have money in the portfolio. Then I took it to 5K again, took out another 2.5K, right? And so that's like maybe 2 months. Now I have 5K straight profit and a 2.5K account. And I remember this vividly. It was the Ethereum V2 fork merge. I thought it was going to dump. It did dump, but I put a all-in short. We would trade 25 to 100x leverage. So every fucking point move is like 25% of your fucking balance to 100%. And I would full port, no stop loss every single trade, because I just like thought, like, if I believe in myself enough, that conviction is what will matter. And I got liquidated out of this trade, lost all my port, and then it dumped like 30-40%. So if I obviously timed it, if I timed it, that would have been close to 100 grand based on that trade. But I got liquidated, it dumped, I lost all my money, and right there, I was dealing with so much stress. If I had a position open when I fell asleep, I would like have dreams of my hair falling out. I'd have dreams of my teeth falling out. And I just had so much stress with this day trading stuff, where when I lost that money, I was sad. I was a little bit depressed for a couple days, and I was just like, fuck this, bro. I don't want to be doing this day trading stuff, because it's not a sustainable source of money. It's gambling. It's like poker, right? It's gambling, but you have a skill. It's not just luck. You can do better than others. But what I realized is the short term is where you're going to lose the most. If you expand your time horizon from 1 day, which is how long you're holding positions, to like 3 months to a year, it changes the game. It's a lot harder to fuck up a trade if you're holding it for 3 months to a year and you're happy to hold it for like 5 years. So that's kind of what I started to look into after this kind of crypto journey. That crypto company ended up going under when the crypto bubble kind of popped, if you will, in 2021, I want to say. And it was my second year of university. And it sucked, but at the same time, I feel like I learned all I was supposed to learn from this company. It didn't really matter. I already kind of got what I needed, and I would have loved to keep learning from them, but it was kind of onto the new era. It was the end of a school year, so I was like, hey, I'll need to get a new job, but I've learned so much from this. And how I view my life is I always need to have like that work, that job, and then I need that entrepreneurial, like, keep my dreams alive. Because when you're working those jobs, when you work a 9 to 5, you have to have that side quest to keep your dreams alive. Because as soon as you give up that side quest and you just are like depending now on this 9 to 5, you have no way out. You're stuck in there. You start to get bills. You start to have car payments. You start to have all these fucking subscriptions like Claude nowadays, right? And once you're working that 9 to 5, you can't really get out of that. Whereas if you have a side hustle, for like is what I had, is there was always this possibility, and I always had this belief that this side hustle over here would pay off at one point in my life. I would get good enough where I could make money, and that side hustle would be the main hustle, and it would be making me more than the main hustle would make. So I always have both going on. So I started trying to do my own crypto, all that stuff. None of it really worked out, but end of that school year, the crypto company went under. I lost my job, and it was going into the next summer. And I was like, I need a job. So this was kind of a new era for me, going from second year to third year. My business school was a bit different. We had a lot of electives in the first 2 years. After the first 2 years, you are very like targeted. You have like what's called a cohort. So everyone in your class is in all of your classes, and you kind of move together. You're like, so you get super close. So it's a big change for me. And essentially like so big that like you're just a pawn. So I was applying for a bunch of these big corporate jobs, and I ended up getting a job selling insurance at one of the biggest like companies in my area. I was selling like, they have like a membership where they like come tow your car and all this stuff. They have house insurance, car insurance, pretty much all the different types of insurance. And pretty much what you do is it was all inbound, so it wasn't like hard sales, like cold calling, but I would get inbound calls. People are like, I need this policy. I need this policy canceled, fixed, blah, 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 blah. And you just help them. So you're just like really selling, but it's really more of the retention selling as opposed to hard selling, first selling, cold selling. And I did that for that summer. I worked full time, went into office every day. It was this big corporate kind of giant. I was kind of just a cog in the machine. Not that no one cared about me, but like the CEO didn't know my name, right? I did a great job on the job. I was like the number one. What they cared about was like collecting emails and collecting when their expiry dates expire for their current insurance, so that you could send them like mail or send them emails when their current insurance is expiring, and we could say, hey, we can save you a bunch on our insurance to kind of convert them. And I was the number one at this in the whole entire company, because simply they said, oh, this is all we care about. This is what you're graded on. If you get a good mark, they called it a fair score or something, like how many emails and expiry dates you're collecting. They're like, whoever collects the most, you get like $100 of Amazon gift cards. And I'm like, every week or every month or something like that. And I was like, say less. So I asked every person, and I would learn how to like sit in the pocket on those calls, where I'd be like, hey, what's your, when does your insurance expire? And they're like, oh, I'm sorry, it's in the car right now, I don't have it on me. I'm like, oh, no worries, you could go check, and I'm happy to wait. Go check, and then I can just like log it down so that we can see if we can save you money then. And every single time, you just had to like get that skill of being able to sell, or being able to be in that pocket and face rejection and still like kind of be happy, essentially. Or like someone comes in pissed off, somehow I would get their fucking expiry date or email out of them. I was one of the best at doing that. I got the most in the company, so I got a shit ton of Amazon gift cards, and it was really great. I liked the job, that it didn't really require much like brain power, much skill, so I didn't have to really build my skills. After I figured out how to just fucking ask and sit in the pocket, I didn't need to do anything else. I would literally just sit on call and just take calls all day, brainless, didn't have to think about it. It made me go insane because I was not developing as a person at all. So I always would start my own side quests, start my own little ventures here and there. I had a bunch, which we can go over in a bit, but this job taught me like the corporate experience, corporate lifestyle, and it was cool. There's like a cafeteria, you got food, you got benefits. I was getting all these Amazon gift cards, and like you have a big team, there's so many people, and you don't really have to do anything. So it was cool. But I always needed something else to keep me motivated. So then that was the summer of second year. Going into third year is when I went part-time with these guys. So I just got a computer, would work remotely from my house at university, and I would just take the calls, answer them, help them out. So that was kind of really the insurance era. It was like a boring but necessary era of like really like understanding that this is not what I want to do with my life. Like, I do not want to be doing a 9 to 5 every day. I could not, like, they started talking, hey, we have like amazing pensions and we can like set you up for retirement well. And I'm like, wait, I can't work here the rest of my life. That's not going to happen. I'm not going to be working here for another 20 years. So I got out, or I was working part-time and I was looking for a way out. While this was all going on, I had a billion ventures, just to quickly go over them because a lot of them didn't have much success. We would do like marketing, we did these Discord servers, we would do like Discord games, all this different stuff was kind of getting small wins. We got a Discord server that we ran for a couple months. We would do games, we would do events, keep the community engaged. We got like a couple grand a month for that. It was me and a couple buddies running these offers. And then we started something called the Clipping Collective, which now everyone knows. It's like clipping campaigns, they're on WAP, you can get paid CPM, all that stuff, but at the time that wasn't a thing. So my idea for it was I was going to get all these guys that clipped all the stuff. I built software, Opus, some people might use Opus now. I was using that shit 4 years ago, it was ass. Using Creo AI again 4 years ago, it was ass. Just a split screen with like Subway Surfer, and it was crazy, but we would just post like hundreds and hundreds of reels a day. I had a team of like, again, people all over the world. I had people in in Canada, people in the States, people in India, people in Nigeria, people in China, people in Japan, all over the world, just doing these posts and essentially just seeing how many views we could get and trying to sell it. Got very minimal traction with that. We got a lot of views, made a little bit of money to pay for this software and stuff, but I'd say we really had no big win from this. But this did introduce me to software. I learned all these tools and I was like, they're very helpful. And then I met this guy named Nabil, who was a software developer from Algeria, lived in France, sick guy. He's coding and he basically made what's called a metadata scraper. And so we would like get these videos of like whatever, like cooking videos, entrepreneurship videos, and we'd run it through this metadata scraper. And what it would do is it would zoom in the video very slightly, like 1%, change the coloring, 0.1%, and then wipe the metadata. And essentially you could repost the same exact reel and Instagram would view it as a different reel. So it would get pushed as if it was an organic, brand new video. So that was the coolest thing to me. So we ended up partnering up with him, bought the software off him, started working with him, and it was super cool. We ran it up very minimally, probably broke even. And funny enough, this was like 4 or 5 years ago. Sophie Rain's manager or someone like that was buying usage from our software, and I never really thought of it. But all these OnlyFans girls that are posting these TikToks, like Thirst Trap or whatever, were using our software to essentially take their photos and do the exact same thing as us. We were trying to do it for like business, like Alex Hormozy style content, and they just were running it up on OnlyFans doing that. So that was a massive part of why Sophie Rain blew up. If you remember the era of seeing her all over Instagram, she was using our software for that. So that was really cool. Shout out Nabil, he got that all sorted and he's the fucking mastermind behind that. Now that I have Claude Code, I realize how fucking easy a metadata scraper is, but at the time it was fucking groundbreaking. And now even more, it's funnier because she's massive now and like she's paying us $10 per video or something and now she makes millions. But it was all awesome. That ended up starting to die off. To bring it back to around first year was when I met my friend Alex. And Alex was one of the first guys who really put me on game. He's 4 years older than me, so he's kind of just like how I would say like where I want to be in 4 years. And he's taking the steps that I want to take. So he was someone I could look at and be like, this is someone who is living the life that I live. He's from the same place as I am. He's like made it through school but didn't like it, wasn't great at it, and it's just not for him. Didn't want to do the normal job route, and he succeeded. He figured it out. He made his own company. It was very small at the time. He was doing like Facebook ads and like he was selling verifications and like all this random bullshit at the time. And he was just getting a little bit into the crypto industry, and that's when I was a bit into crypto. So after first year, we were talking on the phone a bunch. I would like, in that summer, after first year when I was working in crypto, we'd talk a bunch. I'd help him out with stuff. We'd meet up, hang out. He'd put me on game. And then second year, same thing, stayed in touch, helped him with certain things. He was into cold email. He started doing marketing for IPOs. I helped him with that. He would do marketing for crypto companies, and that's how I got some Discord deals. He would like, hey, can you run the Discord? Because now I had this connection, I had an in. He was teaching me all these skills and how to run a business, how to run an offer, how to actually make money when you're working on your own. And it was great. I learned a bunch of stuff, made my first kind of small wins, made some money, paid for some stuff, and really just grew my skills and grew my network. And then third year comes around and we're starting to do this clipping thing, and I say to him, hey, man, you're trying to do social media. Let me just clip up your shit. We'll spam post it. You just pay me costs and we'll call it a day. So I was kind of like our first client, foot in the door. And then once the clipping stuff stopped working, or didn't stop working, I kind of just called it quits. He got me a little bit more involved in kind of his life. And it was, I remember it vividly. We were doing all this clipping stuff. It was super awesome, and he's like, hey, do you want to live at my house all summer? You can learn everything from me. And then kind of as obviously summer came, I stopped running the clipping thing and I just helped him out plan his content, record it, video it, stuff like that. I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, I'll do it. I'll work for free. I don't really care about the money. I just really like, I fucking want this shit. So I would go to his house like pretty much every day, drive downtown 30 minutes, pull up in my car, have my fucking white Monster, and just sit at his table, and we would both just work all day. And like over this summer was when I like learned what it takes to be an entrepreneur. I saw him sit at his desk, take calls, respond to emails, and work for 12 hours a day. And we would talk in those 10-minute breaks in between calls, or if someone no-showed, we'd yap for 30 minutes or go grab food. And it was like, holy shit, this is what it takes. This is what it takes to become what I want to be. So I understood that, and I was like, had to internalize and be like, okay, this is what the winners are doing. And everyone else I've seen before this isn't doing this, and they're not winning. So let me do exactly what he's doing, and fuck all these other people. Let me just work way more than everyone else, have that work ethic, just do volume. And a big thing he taught me as well is act fast, sell first, all these like core principles I learned from him. So when he was feeding me Discord deals, he got a deal with this big prop firm for like a bunch of money, like 80K a month, and we would just do their marketing. And this prop firm was, you don't have to worry about anything, you just have to sell it. So me, Alex, and a couple other guys went on the case and essentially just grinded on this prop firm, trying to sell all their stuff. We grinded up to like 3 million in 3 months. The issue was the actual company was like bad actors or bad people, and eventually after those 3 months we made them so much money, they just fired us out of nowhere and like started like fucking over their clients. And then we got a bunch of the fucking lashback for it because we were the marketing, we were the face, and we literally got fired, so we didn't even have a say in anything anymore. And I was doing like 10K a month, had a bunch of people working for me, dealing with this Discord, managing this Discord. I'm like in the back of my classroom, my teacher's yapping about some bullshit that I couldn't care less about digital marketing. And I'm sitting there and that was like really, really cool. But then obviously what I learned from that is shit can go left. In business, you have to be prepared for shit to go left because it's not always going to work out. That really showed me shit went left, and like I was expecting that money was going to continue. I was like kind of attached to it. I believed in it. And then all these people were mad at me, and I started to like get sad about that and like feel that, and I got a little bit lost. And then that's when I really moved into with Alex, or went to his house every day, learned from him. And then yeah, he was doing a bunch of cold email. We were sending about 600,000 emails a day. That's fucking insane. If you've ever sent 600,000 emails a day, drop a comment, because I honestly think no one was pushing the same volume as these guys were. We had a whole group chat called the Chad Buyers Club of all the guys just sending emails, doing all this stuff. It was awesome. And that was my kind of another first community I was into. Met a lot of amazing people in there that are kind of my age, my style, grinding on the same mindset. During this, he was doing a bunch of email, but he wanted to explore new channels. But when you're a founder, you don't have a lot of bandwidth, so you have to focus on one channel. So he's like, hey, Jordan, can you figure out how to do LinkedIn? Because I'm doing all these emails. I don't have time. Just figure it out, bro. I don't care. I'll buy the stuff so you can do it, but I don't care. Just figure it out. So what I did was I started to finally figure out what actually works, what doesn't. I started running LinkedIn, and like coming from someone who's never done outreach or never done cold outreach, just understanding the sequences and the workflows and all these different things was like game changing for me. And it was like crazy that I could just set this up and it would just run. It would just run 24/7. Every day we were sending out 25 connection requests per account. And I ended up just scaling it up with him. So I scaled up. We were booking some meetings. He was fucking closing them or whatever. And then he would sign clients, and then we'd reach out to the investors. So then I would start running his clients. Everyone who we'd sign, we'd run LinkedIn for. And it was like one of these things where we would just essentially, it kept growing and growing and growing, and I just was doing it for free, learning my skills. Everything was paid for, so I wasn't losing money on it. But I just became the best at LinkedIn outreach. Somehow, some reason why. It was so niche, and I was just like, okay, I guess I'm the LinkedIn guy. So then We found new methods to use it. We kept improving it. And then all these people from that group chat I mentioned before tried to essentially hire me to run their LinkedIn. They're like, oh shit, okay, he's fucking having a great time with you. Let me do my shit. So I started getting a couple deals. It'll be a bit worse, but it's fine. Like it works. It's just could be better. And he had a software agency or software build-out agency, software development agency, where he would build softwares for these enterprise clients, these crazy complex softwares for these big companies. He was like, one day he called me, we were running it, and I still remember the call. He calls me and he's like, yo, what if we just like build the software better than them? And I was like, bro, yes, instantly yes. I'm like, I want to have the software. I want to have full control. I want to build something. And like, yeah, the agency was sick. It makes money fast, but owning this software, owning this asset was so cool to me. Like, I was like instantly down. So that was in fourth year. I want to say this September 2020 is when he kind of hired me and we got the idea. And then we were just kind of brainstorming. We found the name, the offer, kind of locked down the pitch deck and whatever. And then December or like the start of 2025, like January 2025 was when we really started Reachium, which is now my business, now my main thing. We built the best fucking LinkedIn marketing software in the world, but it wasn't always that way. When we were starting, we made the website, we made the pitch decks, and as Alex always taught me, you always have to sell first. So what we did was we had this idea. We knew what it was. I had the case studies. I had that proof because I've done it for so long. You just went around and say, hey, do you want this? Do you want this? Do you want this? Do you want this? Eventually enough people were like, hey, I do want it. I'll pay you for it. And we collected $10,000. I remember that was the moment for me. I was like, holy shit, this is how you have to do things. We collected $10,000 before we even started coding a single thing. And when we collected those $10,000, we were like, fuck. We have nothing coded, we have to build this. So there was a solid 3 months of us just in the trenches grinding because we said, oh, it does all these automations. Nope, it didn't do automations. I had timers set every 15 minutes going off, running every single thing manually and on time, so it felt like an automation to them. And we were booking them a bunch of meetings, but it was 1 billion times more work than actually having automated software. So I was fucked, but that's how you start a business. That if you're starting a business now, that is what you should do. So we ran that, and as I was running it manually, Vincent was working on the software, building it out. So then, okay, now this part's automated, you only have to manually do this part, and then it just slowly kept improving. And over these past like 2 years now, I've learned so much from Reachium, it's almost uncomparable to any other experience because there's something about taking something from the start to finish, and like obviously we're not done yet, but we've taken it from the start to where it is now, where we're making consistent revenue. We have the best product on the market. Our software is amazing, and now it's just about selling more, scaling, and selling more, managing the team and all these things. That as your business goes on, you learn more skills because you can't really learn team management at a startup when no one else works with you. So your team just needs to grow, your business needs to grow to learn these kind of new, bigger skills. And this is now kind of the most advanced I've ever had a business. Reachium's a real thing. We have real recurring revenue. We have an amazing product that drives real results for our clients. I think the story kind of goes like, I didn't know Vincent before. He was just another guy in that group chat that was trying to hire me for the agency. He hired me, and then he's like, had an idea. And it's just say yes. I said yes. We started planning, and then it doesn't hurt. We could have stopped at any time. And we had the idea, and then we're like, fuck it. Let's hang out, bro. I was going to Paris for my buddy's birthday because I was living in Sweden at the time. And I went to Paris for my buddy's birthday. And I was like, yo, Vince, bro, pull up. So he comes to Paris with me, and we just had a great time, met for the first time in person because we only met online before this, and then went back, kept talking, and then Alex was the first person that I met that was like, this is someone who I'd like, this is the type of person I would want in a co-founder. Then when I met Vincent, he was like the only person I'd ever met that was able to compete with how much I worked. Normally, I would outwork everyone, and it was almost just expected, and I almost just thought that I'm just always going to outwork everyone, and that's just me. And then you meet someone and I'm like, fuck, bro, this guy's not sleeping tonight. Fuck, I'm not going to sleep tonight. And we just push each other in a good way. We set boundaries because I never knew him before. So we only know each other from a business context. So we are really comfortable with talking about business, having those tough conversations. We don't have the like weird like friendship. It's like moving in with your friend versus a new person where they do like this weird stuff. Like we set the boundaries early, and I feel like I couldn't have done it better because obviously it's still lasting and it's still going great. But yeah, it's been a crazy journey, and you'll be hearing a lot more about Reachium. But what I really wanted to do in this video is just kind of explain the story, explain where I came from, explain how I've been doing entrepreneurship from when I was 8 or 10, and just constantly always kind of chasing this dream of being able to do whatever I want, whenever I want, and that's what I think is freedom. And I think freedom is what entrepreneurs chase. We don't want to be tied in by these rules. We want to be able to have control over our own lives. Like, I don't want to be like, have my boss say, you can't go on this trip. I want it, it's my life. I should be able to live it how I want to. I shouldn't have to, like, the same way that people say don't settle for a girlfriend, right? You shouldn't be settling for a life that you're not happy with. Like, I am going to continue to do everything in my power to make sure that I'm able to do what I love, which is Reachium right now, which is starting businesses, which is managing money, which is everything I've just talked about. I want to pretty much be able to do this the rest of my life and do nothing else. I want to have friends. I want to take care of my family. I want to have experiences. And the reason why I want to make money is not because I want to buy this car. I want to buy this expensive watch or whatever. I want to have money so that I can, A, take care of people that I care about. B, do the things I want. If I want to go on a trip with my girlfriend, then I want to be able to go on that trip and not be thinking about the fucking money. If I go to a restaurant and a steak looks good, I don't look at the price. I just order what I want to eat. Like, I want that level of freedom. I don't want the Rolex. I don't want the fucking Urus in the driveway. I don't need this fancy house and all this stuff. I just want to have the freedom of choice and feel like I have control over my life and I can do whatever I want. So that's pretty much my business life story. I'm leaving out a lot of stuff. I've met so many great people and had so many great experiences, and this is just touching the surface. Recently been getting more into content, meeting great people, doing the 24-hour live stream. Now I'm networking in Vancouver, and this was kind of just where I came from. Like, this is how I developed my skills. This is how I kind of found my person and what I want to do. And I think I'm very lucky that very early I identified that why do I like doing this investing? Why do I like selling these golf balls? Why did I like playing Minecraft and making money off Minecraft? And I was very introspective and could think about what about those, first of all, is all similar, and what was I trying to get out of those, and what was that addicting feeling? And that addicting feeling was the long-term dopamine payoff of, holy shit, this could work. Understanding it was me waking up and realizing that it's my life, I can do whatever I want. This is literally, everything's in my control. If I work hard enough doing all this stuff, it will work out. And it's all in my hands. Like, your life, it's in your control. No one else's control. No one else is living your life too. So your boss doesn't give a fuck about you. Your friends don't really give a fuck about you. Yeah, they care about you, but at the end of the day, only you know what you actually want. You're the only judge of yourself. You're the one that has to live with you the rest of your life. So if you're convincing yourself to do something because your friends want to do it, or this person told you to do it, they don't really actually fucking care that much about you. You care way more about yourself than anyone else cares about you. So you have to do what's right for you. You gotta, like, follow those dreams. Like, not giving up, and, like, that's what I was talking about earlier with, you have to always have that side quest open. And if you have, like, I understand not everyone's in the position where they can just quit their 9 to 5 and put everything into their business. And I wasn't either. I was in school, I had a job, but just keep that side quest going. Keep running that business, because If you give up on that, you're giving up on your dreams, and maybe one day that will turn into something. Maybe one day all your dreams will come true because you didn't give up on your dreams. It does not matter if it's making money now, but just keep trying. Even if you're putting 1 hour a day, even if you're working your full-time job, you come home to your kids and it's just a passion project that you love. Just do something you love, do it well, be the best, and just keep going. Like, keep following it, because as soon as you give up is when it actually becomes impossible. If you keep working, I guarantee you, if you keep working for your whole life trying to attain one goal, you will succeed. Besides that, that's essentially my life story. I've been yapping here for over an hour, and I will see you guys soon. Thanks for listening.